order. Moment of silence. And meditation. Please stand and salute the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. I'll introduce myself because most people don't know me. I'm Craig Stromberg. I'm the town moderator. First time I've ever done this, so please be patient. I'd like to introduce the town council. Sylvie Thompson, Scott Bell Hurst, Franklin Dolphy, Barbara Powell, and Sharon Davis. We have two gentlemen over here who said I don't have to introduce them, so I won't. Okay, there will be no votes taken tonight because there are no conflicting warrant items filed by electors, making a quorum unnecessary. Sufficient copies of the budget have been prepared, and they're on the back table if you'd like a copy. On May 15th, 2019, 7 p.m., the town council will make the final revisions on the budget and adopt same replacement on with an all-day referendum. The electors of the town council will vote on the budget and financial referendum scheduled for June 11th, 2019 at Town Hall. Polls will open at 7 a.m. and close at 9 p.m. The vote will be an approval or rejection of the municipal budget for 2019-20, including most recently approved Charahoe budget. There are no warrant items proposed. In addition, the town council requires the publication of an alternate budget comprised of the most recently approved Charahoe school budget and reserve years,
previous years approved
municipal budget of all warrant items. There is no ability to approve, reject individual budget line items. The deadline for receiving objections to the individual line items was April 9th via the filing of a petition signed by 200 of the town electors and submitted to the town clerk. None was received.
Lisa, did you have any?
Lisa has a comment?
I just wanted to add, there is one warrant item proposed, and that is later on the order of business.
Okay, I'm not sure if I turn this over to Frank now or
Yes.
if that would be a lot easier on me.
No problem. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the proposed budget for fiscal year 2019-2020. The town of Hopkinton budget summary sheet for fiscal year 2019-2020 is as follows. The town's fiscal year 2019-2020 overall budget is $26,377,172. This is an increase of $816,357, or 3.2% from last year's fiscal budget. Education expenses were budgeted at $19,337,865. This is an increase of $578,056, or 3.1% from last fiscal year's budget. Municipal expenses are budgeted at $6,686,312. This is an increase of $339,583, or 5.4% from last fiscal year's budget. Education revenue from state aid is budgeted at $5,150,088. This is a decrease of $96,902, or 1.9% from last fiscal year's budget. The fiscal year 2019-2020 property tax rate is projected to be at $20.87 per thousand, which is an increase from the fiscal year 2018-2019 property tax rate of 20.07. This proposed budget incorporates some of the following items of interest. In fiscal year 1920, the town intends to use $496,502 of fund balance to fund capital improvements and keep property tax rate level from the last fiscal year. Yeah, I saw that. I should probably, what is it?
Where is that?
Is it 352,995?
Yes.
Yeah.
Captain,
Oh, yeah. All right, so let me just start. The proposed budget incorporates some of the following items of interest. For fiscal year 1920, the town intends to use $352,995 of fund balance to fund capital improvements to keep the property tax rate level from last fiscal year. The budget includes funding for capital projects in the amount of, same amount, Brian?
Yes.
Okay. $352,995. Major projects include funds for raising of the 1904 Ashaway School building, townwide tree removal, the purchase of 2 new police cruisers, and one mid-size plow for public works. Is a tax example. For fiscal year 2018-2019, a typical home valued at $300,000 at the tax rate of $20.07 per thousand results in a total tax bill of $6,021. The proposed budget for fiscal year 1920, that same home would be at a tax rate of $20.87 per thousand, results in a total tax bill of $62.61. Education expenses represent 76% of the total fiscal year 2019-2020 budget. Municipal expenses represent 24% of the total fiscal year 2019-2020 budget. The increase from last year to this fiscal year is 80 cents, and again, it's directly attributed to state aid being reduced by almost $97,000 to education, and childhood going up by almost $600,000, $578,056. There is no municipal increases that are resulting in this 80-cent increase. So, there you have it, Mr. Moderator.
Okay. Where I am on this. It's open for discussion. Is that the proper procedure?
What we do is page 2, where it says expense. We just go apart, and you just go down the line and say, anybody have a question on education? And then you do them all, and find out where the questions are, and then you go back and start at the top. If anybody's got a question, they just shout it out, or whatever it is they want to talk about, they just say, me too, or whatever.
Okay, I'll read it. Education. General government. Town clerk. Probate court. Board of canvassers. Elections. Tax assessor. Tax collector. Tax sale. Finance director. Debt service. GIS, IT. Building, zoning. Planner. Police. Dispatchers. Animal control. Energy management.
Emergency.
Oh, emergency, I'm sorry. Public Works, Landfill, Parks and Recreation, Town Manager, Municipal Court, Town Council, Zoning Board, Planning Board, Tax Board of Revenue, Review, I'm sorry. Conservation Commission, Juvenile Hearing Board, Historic District Commission, grants and contributions,
Yes.
That, yes.
Mhm.
Okay. So that, and capital transfer?
Question.
Yes. Okay, so I guess we have two questions on grants. Is it grants or
Page 50,
It's page 50.
page 50?
yep, very last page.
I also want one on land trust funds. Land trust funds. Lisa, what's land trust fund?
They are in the capital improvement plan, and the implementation on the town clerk's budget, I believe.
I can't find page 50.
At the very last page.
Oh, very last page in section number 1. Oh, you don't have sections, okay.
Very last is 50.
It's only in the.
Grants, there it is. Okay.
I have a question regarding the contributions on page 50. We had raised Hope Valley Ambulance to 52,000. And Ashway Ambulance, we have left at 50,000. I'm wondering if we could raise that to 52,000. I think both of the ambulance associations are having, are concerned about their budgets. And certainly everything has gone up, and I know the state is mandating even more unfunded mandates that they're expected to do. So I would like to know if anyone would be interested in having Ashway Ambulance be raised to the 52,000, the same as Hope Valley Ambulance.
We just talked about the reporting requirements that we installed a year ago,
Correct.
which really didn't get set. And they were supposed to get set, and then you want to give more money. You know, I think, you know, maybe in due time, I think I could support that, but not right now. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, and I'm doing it because I know that both of the ambulance organizations are really having problems with the state and with the additional monies the state are expecting them to pay.
Under labor relation, or labor board.
Exactly, it's labor board problems, and they have no control over it. And both of them are valuable to me. So I would like to, make a motion to add the 2,000 to the Ashway ambulance.
Well, we don't do motions
No.
tonight,
Okay.
but,
At the last meeting.
At the last meeting, so I would like to at least address that again, because they really have nothing that they can do about the labor board.
Yeah, the labor board came down because of the nature of how they were run in the past with volunteer stuff and all that stuff kind of caught up to them. So everybody, I think, has been on sound footing as far as the labor board is concerned. It's more about, unfunded mandates with, drivers having to be certified and a lot of other things, medications continually go up. It's a cash flow problem. It's not, 2,000 is not going to solve their problem. I think it's more of a global discussion about where these folks are going to be, and that's both ambulance corps. I don't think long-term they're going to be around, and something needs to be talked about as far as that's concerned. So.
At the moment, they still are though, and the 2,000 for helping Hope Valley is just as minor as the 2,000 for helping Ashway Ambulance. But I would just like to bring that up for our final meeting.
Linda had a question on capital
Yeah, that's
transfer.
fund balance transfer. My question is kind of general. Are you leaving a good cushion in the fund balance? Because I all know too well the dangers of taking too much out.
We never like to take too much out, obviously, but I'll let Brian discuss that. We have just about two months' expenses. which is
Yeah, we always maintain a minimum, which is recommended by Moody's and the GFOA. They give guidance to municipalities on a healthy fund balance, and the rule of thumb is 2 months of operating budget.
Okay.
And we maintain that at a minimum.
Okay.
And we're just at that limit this year. So we don't,
What is it, about 4.1?
yeah,
is that in there somewhere?
yeah, it's in a few places. It's in your, it's not in the operating budget anywhere, but we've discussed it on multiple occasions at the last budget workshop. You can also see it through the special revenue tab that you have, Sharon. It's the top line. That, however, we've already used.
Tab 4.
So there's also, keep in mind that there's also funds already earmarked for FY19 and FY20.
So that's saying that there is $1.6 million in the bank, is that where we are, or is it really,
No,
it's 7 million?
No, it's 4.9, it's the top line.
Okay. Okay.
And then we used, this year, we're using,
51,
yeah,
352,
okay. 51 and 65.
352, right?
252,995.
right, and then, and for FY19 also, yeah, we're using, where is it? 630 of it. It's kind of a moving target though, because if we come under budget or get more revenue, you know, that we're anticipating using 630, but if we underrun the budget expenses or overrun revenue, we decrease the amount of fund balance that we would need to use. But to answer your question, I'm very conservative about that because we've seen neighboring communities get themselves in trouble.
In this one too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've all learned, yeah.
Yeah, so I try to voice that 2 months would be the absolute floor for us to use. But we try to keep it close to that, you know, we don't want to hold too much in fund balance. But
It took 10 years to get to that 2-month mark.
And then we
Just
went
a
over,
little bit,
and then we went over quite a bit too. with Laura.
Oh, yeah,
I was
yeah,
like, wait a minute.
that's right.
Hold
We
on,
had
a lot
extra
of
money,
money.
we're like, wow.
If we're raising taxes, we're way.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, the other thing though, it's a good point though, because with the enrollment shifts, it's crucial that we keep a healthy fund balance because we see what happens in a year where we have an enrollment shift, which the town has no control over. We can see a pretty big fluctuation in that expense, you know, upwards to, you know, 600, 700,000. So it's nice that we have that fund balance there as a safety net for that enrollment shift if they continue to
It's a
come.
good question, thanks.
Okay, any more questions? Okay, we have a proposed warrant item for June 11, 2019 referendum ballot to propose the use of 51,000 off-site improvement fees to account number,
Restricted accounts.
restricted account number 02014, earmarked for the purpose of townwide removal of potentially dangerous trees. Do we have any questions on that?
No, just so the public knows, it's only, we have upwards, we have close to 1,000 trees townwide that need to come down, but it's 97 trees that were designated as emergency because we just couldn't, I mean, if they were all an emergency, they'd be different, but the Public Works was able to identify what ones were the emergency trees that needed to come down, had been dead longer, and so this is going to unfortunately keep coming up as a budget item year to year to take care of a bunch more and a bunch more, or whatever is necessary. So just to let the public know, this is not going to take care of all of them, it's going to take care
Small.
of 10%.
10%.
The most dangerous.
Yes.
Initially, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Any other questions? Have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
You don't usually make the motion, I'll move that we adjourn.
No, he's running the meeting.
I did.
Oh, so we don't even need to,
Okay.
no, I don't know, we don't need to.
He